Welcome to today's edition of Southwest Yard and Garden. I'm Curtis Smith, your host for this garden program made for the gardeners in the southwestern United States. Today we're going to visit with Willie West. He'll be talking to us today about drip irrigation. Willie, glad to have you again.
Thank you.
Well, I see you've got a drip irrigation installed here in these flowering plants near the entry to the house. This is the high water zone?
Yes, it is, Curtis. And actually what we have installed here is a type of drip system called a micro mister system. It allows us to put down low volumes of water over a wide area. Since we have a lot of ground cover type plant material in here with the annual flowers, running an individual emitter to each one would be ridiculous. So we use a micro spray system and does a very good job in this area.
Keeps good moisture coverage over it. All the plants are pretty happy.
Yes.
And these are just now installed, so you're trying to water them to get them established.
Right. These plants were installed a little less than a week ago, so the water usage is up a little bit, but you have to do that for establishment. What's nice about this type of system in this particular area, since we do have an annual bed here, we do have to amend it every year or more often, but usually every spring before we put it in the summer color. What's nice about the micro misters type system is we can pull the whole system out of here. Come in, do our soil amendments, rototill, put the system back down, and then go for it.
And that's one of the evidences of the high water zone, because that's where we're going to be putting the organic amendments in regularly. And so working carefully around the roses, which are permanent, but you're able to come in here, change it, make it what you need it to be, and put the plants in.
That's right.
I noticed that you've even got potted plants on drip irrigation.
Yeah, Curtis, this is a type of emitter that puts out low volume water, just is specially designed and used in pot areas like this. It is important to note, though, that this system for these pots, we have about 20 pots in and around this property out here. This is a separate system from everything else, including the annual beds over here. The pots, if you tend to overwater them, you tend to get a lot of water runoff, and the minerals that are in the potting soil tend to stain your walkway. So this one, it is important when you do pots that you try and keep them separate.
And what plants do you have in here?
Oh, this is a purple fountain grass, which should get up, it's an annual, that'll get up about 2 to 3 foot tall. And then we have some Verbena that should cascade down over the pots. So they go real well together. Once this starts growing and fills out more, you won't see the pot.
Looks pretty. Well, I see we're using a different drip irrigation system in here.
Yeah, Curtis, this is a more typical type. This is just a flag emitter type system. This particular one, I believe, is a 4 gallon per hour emitter. The lilac's a little bit more thirsty than some of our other native type plant material. Purpose of this system is this landscape here is about 2 years old, so the emitters are installed right next to the plant material. But out about where you're kneeling at, we also have additional emitters installed in line to allow for root development over time. As this plant continues to mature, we'll cap these off to encourage root development further away from the plant. It gets a better established plant material that way.
That's good, because as the plant grows, its roots spread out considerably.
Right.
It looks like it's running very well. I noticed earlier that it had a white crust on it.
Yeah, that is one thing with the minerals that we have in our water. We do get a lot of salt buildup from time to time. And to the point, especially with the lower type emitters, that it can actually clog them up. You can either replace them, or sometimes through the small orifice you can take a safety pin or a needle and just clean them out when they're running. One of the things we like to do is on a shrub like this, we'll run 2 emitters to each shrub. The purpose for that is if one gets clogged, the other one's still there to keep the plant material alive. It may not be that vigorous, but it's alive. On trees, we'll do 4, 6, or 8 emitters, depending on the size of the tree when it goes in. You never really want to do just one emitter, because if one does clog up, you're going to lose the plant unless you're very meticulous about going through your system.
Yeah, another benefit I see to drip irrigation in a setting like this is that the only place where there's moisture, only really good opportunities for weed growth is where you're applying the water, so you're not having weed growth everywhere.
Yeah, that's correct. If we were to have a spray type situation here, even though we have a fabric underneath this mulch, we're still going to get weed seeds growing in on top of the mulch, weeds popping up. By having the water located just at the base of the plant, we don't have as much of a weed problem.
That's a smart way to go.
Yeah, it sure is.
I see there's even a different irrigation system here.
Yeah, Curtis, this is more of a temporary system that we use to just get the aspen established out in this meadow area. As you can see, all we're doing with this system, we didn't bury it or anything. It's just for a couple year system, get tree establishment going, and then this system is going to go away.
So this will be an area that's on its own because there's enough moisture for the plants that are planted here.
Yeah, that's right.
But they need that extra help during the establishment period.
Right. Like I said, these trees are about 2 years old. We'll probably go one more season with the temporary drip system, and then the system will go away.
I notice you've got some emitters in line.
Right.
And you've got some supply tubes over here carrying it off to the other tree.
Right. We used a 1/4 inch. We ran the main tube as close to those trees as we could, and we ran a 1/4 inch. On this 1/4 inch tubing, we do put in staples because this will move around a little bit, just to hold these into place so they don't move away from the base of the tree too far. One of the things to keep in mind with this type of tubing, especially out here in the East Mountains where we're at now, rodents really love these things. They like to chew on them, so occasionally you will find holes. Cut it and patch it.
It's easy enough to do. This is easy material to work with.
Yeah, this is a real simple system. There again, it's just like with the spray heads though. There are many different types of emitters that are available on the market. This is a flag emitter. There's some called zero bugs. There's other model types available. No matter what you do though, they all do need to be the same.
Keep them uniform throughout the system.
That's correct.
Well, here we are at the valve box, the source of it all for this drip irrigation system. We've got the valves here, the backflow preventers here. We don't have the controller here. That's in another location. But
Right.
this is where it all begins. What is this?
What this is, Curtis, is a place to keep your valves and the other parts of a drip system. Same as the turf area, we just have an electronic valve. On the drip system, though, you also need to add 2 other elements which are down in this valve box. One is a filter. The purpose of this filter, because the openings on these drip emitters are so small, you have to have this filtration system online just to keep any particulates from getting into the system. You also need to leave enough room down in the bottom of the valve box, set that down, to periodically go in and you unscrew this so you can clean this filter, okay? And next thing in line is a pressure reducer. Drip systems like to operate at low volume, low pressure. That's the whole purpose of them. This keeps the pressure in the system at a constant rate. On this particular one, I believe it's 20 pounds of pressure. And those are real important because then that way the system is operating the way it's supposed to.
If you didn't do that, you'd have things blowing apart?
You had the possibility of it. In some situations, you can go without the pressure regulator, but in most cases you need to use them. Other than that, that's about the only difference between these and a turf system is you have these 2 additional items in line. The backflow prevention, which we have here, is just the same as what we talked about previously about the turf areas. You have to have a backflow 6 inches above the highest point of use on each valve in order to meet the current code requirements and for your own safety.
Keep from having water from the landscape siphoning back into your drinking water.
That's correct.
I can imagine there are things out here we really wouldn't want to drink.
Oh, probably not.
Well, Willie, thank you. I appreciate the tour of this drip irrigation system.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you, Curtis.